Horn antenna. The horn antenna has a distinctive shape and is unlike many other forms of antenna and is used at microwave frequencies. The horn antenna can be considered to be a waveguide that has been widened out in the form of a horn. As a result, it finds many applications in areas where waveguides are used. A horn antenna is an antenna that consists of a flaring metal waveguide shaped like a horn to direct radio waves in a beam. Horns are widely used as antennas at ultra-high frequencies and microwave frequencies above 300 MHz. They are used as feed antennas for larger antenna structures. One of the first horn antennas was constructed in 1897 by Jagdish Chandra Bose. The modern horn antenna was invented independently in 1938 by Wilmer Barrow. The development of radar in World War II stimulated horn research to design feed horns for radar antennas. The horn invented by Kay in 1962 has become widely used as a feed horn for microwave antennas such as satellite dishes and radio telescopes. An advantage of horn antennas is that since they have no resonant elements, they can operate over a wide range of frequencies, a wide bandwidth. Horn antennas often have a directional radiation pattern with a high antenna gain, which can range up to 25 decibels in some cases, with 10 to 20 decibels being typical. Horn antennas have a wide impedance bandwidth, implying that the input impedance is slowly varying over a wide frequency range. The bandwidth for practical horn antennas can be on the order of 20:1, for instance operating from 1 GHz to 20 GHz. The gain of horn antennas often increases as the frequency of operation is increased. This is because the size of the horn aperture is always measured in wavelengths. Horn antennas have very little loss, so the directivity of horn is roughly equal to its gain. Horn antennas are somewhat relatively simple to manufacture. In addition, acoustic horn antennas are also used in transmitting sound waves. Horn antennas are also often used to feed a dish antenna or as a standard gain antenna in measurements. A horn antenna is used to transmit radio waves from a waveguide out into space or collect radio waves into a waveguide for reception. It typically consists of a short length of rectangular or cylindrical metal tube closed at one end, flaring into an open-ended, conical or pyramidal shaped horn on the other end. The radio waves are usually introduced into the waveguide by a coaxial cable attached to the side, with the central conductor projecting into the waveguide to form a quarter wave monopole antenna. The waves then radiate out the horn end in a narrow beam. In some equipment, the radio waves are conducted between the transmitter or receiver and the antenna by a waveguide. In this case, the horn is attached to the end of the waveguide. In outdoor horns, such as the feed horns of satellite dishes, the open mouth of the horn is often covered by a plastic sheet transparent to radio waves to exclude moisture. When radio waves traveling through the waveguide hit the opening, this impedance step reflects a significant fraction of the wave energy back down the guide toward the source, so that not all of the power is radiated. This is similar to the reflection at an open-ended transmission line or a boundary between optical mediums with a low and high index of refraction like at a glass surface. The reflected waves cause standing waves in the waveguide, increasing the standing wave ratio wasting energy and possibly overheating the transmitter. In addition, the small aperture of the waveguide causes significant diffraction of the waves issuing from it, resulting in a wide radiation pattern without much directivity. To improve these characteristics, the ends of the waveguides are flayed out to form a horn. The taper of the horn changes the impedance gradually along the horn's length. This acts like an impedance matching transformer, allowing most of the wave energy to radiate out the end of the horn into space with minimal reflection. The taper functions similarly to a tapered transmission line or an optical medium with a smoothly varying in refractive index. In addition, the wide aperture of the horn projects the waves in a narrow beam. The horn shape that gives minimum reflected power is an exponential taper. Exponential horns are used in special applications that require minimum signal loss, such as satellite antennas and radio telescopes. However, conical and pyramidal horns are most widely used because they have straight sides and are easier to design and fabricate. Horn antenna types. There are several horn configurations, out of which three configurations are most commonly used: pyramidal horn antenna, sectoral horn antenna, conical horn antenna. Pyramidal horn antenna. This type of horn antenna has flaring on both sides. If flaring is done on both the E and H walls of a rectangular waveguide, then pyramidal horn antenna is produced. This antenna has the shape of truncated pyramid. Sectoral horn. This type of horn antenna flares out in only one direction. Flaring in the direction of electric vector produces the sectorial E-plane horn. Similarly, flaring in the direction of magnetic vector produces the sectorial H-plane horn. Conical horn antenna. When the walls of the circular waveguide are flared, it is known as a conical horn. This is a logical termination of circular waveguide. Flaring helps to match the antenna impedance with the free space impedance for better radiation. It avoids standing wave ratio and provides greater directivity and narrower beam width. The flared waveguide can be technically termed as electromagnetic horn radiator. Flare angle of the horn antenna is an important factor to be considered. If this is too small, then the resulting wave will be spherical instead of plane and the radiated beam will not be directive. Hence, the flare angle should have an optimum value and is closely related to its length. Figure EA is a horn antenna with the horn in the shape of a four-sided pyramid with a rectangular cross section. There are a common type used with rectangular waveguides and radiate linearly polarized radio waves. Figure B, a sectoral horn flared in the direction of the electric or E field in the waveguide. Figure C, H-plane horn antenna, or a sectoral horn flared in the direction of the magnetic or H field in the waveguide. Figure D is a conical horn antenna, a horn in the shape of a cone with a circular cross section. They are used with cylindrical waveguides. Several types of horn antennas are illustrated in figure. To minimize reflections of the guided wave, the transition region or horn between the waveguide at the throat and free space at the aperture could be given a gradual exponential taper, as in figure A and E. The types in B and C are sectoral horns. They are rectangular types with a flare in only one dimensions. The horn in B is flared out in plane perpendicular to E. Therefore, this type of horn is called H-plane sectoral horn. The horn in figure C is flared out in the plane of the electric field. Hence, this is called E-plane sectoral horn. A rectangular horn with flare in both planes, as in figure D, is called a pyramidal horn. The variation is suggested by the arrows at the apertures in figure B and C and D. The arrows indicate the direction of the electric field and their length gives an approximate indication of the magnitude of the field intensity. The horn antenna shown in figure F is a conical type. The electric field distribution at the aperture is as shown by the arrows. The horn antenna in figure G and H are biconical types. The one in figure G is excited in the TEM mode by a vertical radiator while the one in the figure H is excited by a small horizontal loop antenna. These biconical horns are non-directional in the horizontal plane. Neglecting edge effects, the radiation pattern of a horn antenna can be determined if the aperture dimensions and aperture field distributions are known. Variations in the magnitude or phase of the field across the aperture decrease the directivity. The principle of equality of path length is applicable to the horn design but with a different emphasis. Instead of requiring a constant phase across the horn mouth, the requirement is relaxed to one where the phase may deviate, but by less than a specified amount delta equal to the path length difference between a ray traveling along the side and along the axis of the horn. If delta is a sufficiently small fraction of a wavelength, the field has nearly uniform phase over the entire aperture. For a constant length L, the directivity of the horn increases as the aperture A and flare angle theta are increased. However, if the aperture and flare angle become so large that delta is equivalent to 180 degrees, the field at the edge of the aperture is in phase opposition to the field on the axis. A figure A shows the pyramidal horn antenna. Figure B is cross section with dimensions used in analysis. The diagram can be for either E-plane or H-plane cross sections. From the figure, I can write cos theta by 2 is equal to L divided by L plus delta, and sin theta by 2 is equal to A divided by 2 into L plus delta. Tan theta by 2 is equal to A divided by 2 into L plus delta. Tan theta by 2 is equal to A divided by 2L, where theta is flare angle, theta E for E plane, theta H for H plane. Similarly, A is the aperture, AE for E plane, AH for H plane. L is horn length in meters, delta is path length difference in meters. L is equal to A square divided by A8 delta. When delta is very much less than L. And I can write theta as theta is equal to tan inverse of 2 tan inverse of 2 into tan inverse of A by 2L. Similarly, I can write theta is equal to 2 into cos inverse of L divided by L plus delta. The maximum directivity occurs at the largest flare angle for which delta does not exceed a certain value. Thus, the optimum horn dimensions can be related by delta naught is equal to L divided by cos theta by 2 cos of theta by 2 minus L is a optimum delta. Optimum length is delta naught cos theta by 2 divided by 1 minus cos of theta by 2. It turns out that the value of delta naught must usually be in the range of 0.1 to 0.4 free space wavelength. The rectangular horn antenna, provided that the aperture in both planes of a rectangular horn exceeds 1 lambda, the pattern in one plane is substantially independent of the aperture in the other plane. Hence, in general, the H-plane pattern of an H-plane sectoral horn is the same as the H-plane pattern of a pyramidal horn with the same H-plane cross-section. Likewise, the E-plane pattern of an E-plane sectoral horn is the same as the E-plane pattern of a pyramidal horn with the same E-plane cross-section. Referring to the figure, the total flare angle in the E-plane is theta E and the total flare angle in the H-plane is theta H. The axial length of the horn from throat to aperture is L and the radial length is R. The directivity of a horn antenna can be expressed in terms of its effective aperture, 4 pi AE divided by lambda square, which is equal to 4 pi epsilon AP into A suffix P divided by lambda square, where AE is effective aperture in meter square, AP is physical aperture in meter square, epsilon AP is aperture efficiency, which is given by AE divided by AP, and lambda in meters. For a rectangular horn, AP is equal to AE AH and into AH. For conical horn, AP is equal to pi r square, where r is aperture radius. It is assumed that AE, AH or R are all at least 1 lambda. Consider aperture efficiency is approximately equal to 0.6, then directivity is equal to 7.5 AP divided by lambda square. Therefore, directivity is equal to 10 log 7.5 AP divided by lambda square in decibels. For a pyramidal horn, directivity is equal to 10 log 7.8 AE in lambda and AH in lambda. So AE lambda is for E plane in aperture, E plane aperture in lambda, and H lambda is H plane aperture in lambda.